Today we're going to discuss Niddātandi Sutta, the 16th Sutta of Samyutta Nikaya. And I was putting a topic for this sutta this way: turning setbacks, spiritual setbacks, into comebacks. Okay, so let's take a look at the meaning of the sutta in Pali. Niddātandi Sutta. I think there is a similar Pali word that is pronounced in the same way. What is it? Ninda. But Ninda and Nidda, they are two words in Pali. Now Ninda means, what is Ninda? It is a blame, right? Blame, insult or whatever. But Nidda means sleep or drowsiness. And Tandi, what is Tandi? Lethargy. It's about lack of energy for spirituality. Okay, so Niddātandi Sutta, Sutta on drowsiness and lethargy, especially in terms of the Nibbanic path, spiritual path. Let me read the Pali, two Pali stanzas. The first one by a Deva deity, and the second one by the Buddha. Niddātandi Vijambika. So the B is aspirate. Arati Bhatta Sammadu. Etena Nappa Kasati Arya Maggo Idha Pani Nanti. Nidda, the Buddha explains his version. Niddang Tanding Vijambikang Arating Bhatta Sammadang Piriyena Nang Panamitva Arya Maggo Visujja Titi. I mean, on the surface it looks like the same words, but the overall idea may be different. Okay, Nidda, as I explained to you, it is drowsiness. So if you getting sleepy or drowsy, when you really want to execute your spiritual path, it's not a good thing, right? Tandi is when you feel that you don't have this spiritual energy to maybe meditate, maybe do a good thing, maybe practice each part of the Eightfold Noble Path. That looks really concerning, right? Because you don't have the required energy to execute the skillful activities. Vijambika. What is Vijambika? Vijambika is a lazy stretching. One can say that they are lazy to stretch out. One may also say yawning, right? You know, some translations give yawning. Right? Like, I think people yawn when they don't have a good sleep, when they don't feel that they have energy to get involved with those good activities. But anyway, if someone feels overly, lazy about stretching even the body, that may be also a problem. And arati is discontent. So what is arati in Pali? Akusala pakka ukkantitta, right? So ukkantitta means not attaching to this unskillful activities, right? So arati, so that means we need to get involved, attached to skillful activities. So discontent. Torpor after meals, call it Bhatta Sammada. Bhatta, aspirate, okay? Bhatta Sammada. Bhatta means food, right? So Bhatta Sammada means if you take a lot of food, if you take food that crosses the boundary of moderation, right, then you feel drowsy as well. Then you are struggling with torpor, right, which you call batta samadhi in Pali. And then etena nappakasati ariya maggo ida parina. Because of this, the Bhikkhu Bodhi translates these are mental corruptions, but I would say these are spiritual setbacks as well. Because of these spiritual setbacks or mental corruptions here among beings, the noble path does not appear. That means if you simply know what is supposed to be done, does not make sense. That means you need to get over these things, especially drowsiness, lethargy, lazy stretching, which includes yawning and whatever other activities related to that, discontent, which you call arati, and batta sammada, torpor after meals. So Deva says that if someone is struggling with these, then for that person, the noble path, the Arya Magga, the path to Nibbana or Eightfold Noble Path, could be a struggle, because these are really struggling things in the spiritual path. Buddha uses the same words, but at the end he presents his version a little differently. Drowsiness, lethargy, lazy stretching, discontent, torpor after meals. When one can dispel these with energy, we call virya, the noble path is clear. That means you can turn those setbacks into comebacks, right? So you are reviving, returning to the real energy. So what is real energy in the Buddhist teachings? You may know what is virya, right? And we also use another word in Pali in the Eightfold Noble Path, vayam, right? Samavayam, right? So if someone even know all this stuff, right, but struggling with these things, it will cover the noble path. So we all need to understand these are to be setbacks. So we need to turn them into comebacks by being very conscious. Whenever you feel drowsy, whenever you feel lethargic, when you feel you are into lazy stretching, whenever you think you are into discontent. I mean, for example, if you don't like fulfilling skillful activities, what are the skillful activities in Buddhism? What major skillful activities are there in Buddhist teachings? Someone can say there are a lot of skillful activities, but there are 10 major skillful activities in the Buddhist teachings. The rest are either sub-type of the kusalas of those 10, or different subordinate, secondary, tertiary type of skillful activities. May I ask what they are?
Aren't they mostly framed in the negative? They're the opposite of the akusala, the 10
Yeah.
akusalas. So
Yeah.
mostly the 10 akusalas include things like harming sentient beings, intoxication, I think. No, intoxication is not one of them.
It's not a part of it.
It's not one of them. But stealing, usually they're violations of the basic precepts. And I can't remember them all, but the 10 kusalas are the opposite.
Opposite.
So it's refraining from harming sentient
Yeah.
beings, refraining from, and so on. I think stealing is one of them, but I can never remember the whole list.
Yeah, no problem. No problem. Yeah, that's why we are here, right? To learn and discuss and to know from this supportive environment. Or not, okay, I would break them into three parts. Kusalas related to the body. Skillful activities related to body. Skillful activities related to the speech. And skillful activities related to the mind. Okay, so there are 3 skillful activities related to the body, 4 for the speech, and 3 for the mind. So not killing, not stealing, not misbehaving in the sensual pleasures. These are the 3 skillful activities. one can practice, develop, cultivate with their bodies, and not telling lies, not not talking behind the back, not using words that may be hurtful to others, and not being a gossiper or an idle chatter. So these are the skillful activities that are related to the speech. And not being envious, and not having thoughts of destroying other people, even by ways of internet, right? People can assassinate people by character, right? Even other people who don't know what is it, they're gonna share. They easily hit the button, hit the misinformation, and then sharing the misinformation, helping that whatever the bad, prejudice, whatever those false information to be distributed across the world, right? On one side they are lying, on the other side they are assassinating someone's character, indirectly or directly. So then, not having thoughts of destroying other people, including oneself. That's why we always talk about self-love, not even other people. In the West, in the East, now this huge problem comes up. I don't like myself, I hate myself, for whatever the reasons, right? So, and the third skillful activity related to the mind is not having Niddātandi, call it, wrong, non-harmonious view, right? And in the sutta called Kamma Vibhanga Sutta, anybody who participated in our last sutta discussions from Majjhima Nikaya may know we did a sutta called Kamma Vibhanga Sutta. There are two suttas that talk about the analysis about the karma in the Tripitaka. They are very, very, very important suttas. The first one is Kamma Vibhanga Sutta, in which a lot of people misinterpret about the karma concept. For example, I would say everything happens from karma. There are people who live long, there are people who live short, there are people who are pretty, handsome, there are people who are ugly, there are people who are wise, unwise. So, like, a lot of people, when they read this sutta, they come into a point that all these things happen as a consequence of karma, which is not. Buddha says, what is the right word that Buddha used? I can remember that sutta. Ekacho ittiva puruso. Ekacho. Some, the reason of the longevity of some people is due to the previous karma, but it's not the reason of everybody. Let's say if you live in a country where you don't get shelter, food, and your life is destined, right? Counted, right? But if you live in a country where you see good life standards, it is not just karma, but people even describe that also as a karma. Why we born there, right? In the Kamma Vibhanga Sutta, Buddha says something really different. Buddha says there are people who do good things, but at the end of their life, they're going to be reborn in the hells, which is really confusing to a lot of us, a lot of people who don't know this karma concept. There are people who do bad things in their whole life. At the end of their life, they're going to be reborn in the good places, heavens. And the rest of the two are really simple. The good people go to the good places, bad people go to the bad people, which is really simple. But why the first two are different? Because they die with the Miccāditthi or Sammaditthi. There could be a criminal, a gangster, or terrorist who might die with a purified mind, right? And because how much wrong, how much immoral you are, but just before you die, you may reflect on something really good. I mean, that's why they're going to be reborn in a good place, but not for a long time. Like what happened to Kosala Mallika. She was reborn in the hell for a week because she lied about her sexuality at some point to her husband. Anyway, Why the bad people reborn in the good places? Micchaditi. Why the Samaditi? Why the good people may be reborn in the bad places? Micchaditi. For a certain time, but not for long. Okay? Anyway, the main reason why I was trying to tell you is the last skillful activities, Micchaditi or Samaditi. Wrong view or right view. So now you know there are 10 skillful activities, right? So if someone is lazy and especially lethargic about these 10, that's going to be a big problem, right? That's why Buddha says, don't wait until you're getting old to be a good person. There are people who are always trying to procrastinate their good person thing in their life. But when you're getting, as you age, what's going to happen is that you are not physically okay at some point, but that could trouble you, because now when you are getting old, all these things may come as a package. You may be drowsy faster than you were before. You may be lethargic, you may be lazy, you may be discontent, you may be struggling with talk after meals, because as you live longer, you get to like a lot of things, right? Like when you are small, you don't take a long shower, right? Go to the washroom and come back faster, right? As you age, you get to see your body. You take a longer time in the washroom. I mean, it's not a bad thing, but I mean, you are pretty concerned about you and yourself. That's why Buddha says, do not wait until you're getting difficult to practice Dharma. Try to practice Dharma at any time. But these are drowsiness, lethargy, lazy stretching, discontent, talk after meals. If you don't really concern about these things, your spiritual path is at jeopardy, is at risk. So keep in mind to specifically focus on these things. And Buddha says if someone can dispel these things with energy. What is energy? Samma Vayam. What is Samma Vayam? What is Samma Vayam? I talked about Samma Vayam on the Sinhala New Year Day here, I guess, in Sinhala. There are 4 things that one has to practice in terms of fulfilling, executing, developing, cultivating 10 skillful activities. Dasa Kusala Kamma. What are they? The first thing is, we all need to put effort to practice, to continue the existing skillful activities we have. Let's say we all practicing all those, some more skillful activities. We need to put effort to double, triple, continue, quadruple those skillful activities. Okay. We may be at different levels. The second thing in the some right effort is, energy is, to dispel the existing unskillful activities. Let's say you may misbehave in your sensual pleasures, you may lie, you may talk behind the back, you may use hurtful words, so you know that they are not good. So you're gonna continue dispelling, reducing those unskillful acts. So put effort to do that. So that's the second thing that one has to do with right effort, Samavaya. The third thing is, you may sometimes notice that your friends, your people around you, maybe your colleagues, co-workers, other country, maybe anybody that you think that they may have a practice of fulfilling these skillful activities in a better way, and you're getting influenced by them, and to put effort to get influence and then to practice those non-existing skillful activities you don't have but other people have, because it's good. And the fourth way of practicing right effort, right energy is, you notice that there are unskillful activities that you don't have but other people may have. You don't let them happen in yourself because they are bad. You are already good, so you don't let them happen in you. So then these are the 4 ways of cultivating, continuing your energy. So that's the energy one has to use to dispel these setbacks, corruptions. You can dispel drowsiness, lethargy, lazy stretching or yawning, discontent, torpor after meals with those 4 types of energy. Make sense? Okay, so if you have any questions, it's time to ask those questions.
The one that I always forget that's not included in the kusala behaviors, but it is one of the precepts, is intoxication.
Mm-hmm.
And if I'm not mistaken, it's also one of the, I think that there is the assertion that there are 5 activities that an arahant can't do simply by nature, and they include things like an arahant can't consciously murder something or someone, they can't steal, and so on.
Mm-hmm.
But the 5th one is they can't store up things for later.
Mm-hmm.
They just will never do it.
You mean like, there's a nice word for this.
They can't put stuff away for a rainy day. They
Yeah.
can't. They can't hoard.
Hoarding, yeah.
Yeah,
It's
they
hoarding,
can't hoard
yeah.
things.
Mm-hmm.
But there isn't the assertion that an arahant can't.
Is it something they can do, they won't do?
They won't. They're
Because they have given up everything,
mentally and
right?
spiritually incapable of it.
Yes.
You know, like
Yes.
they won't let a lie pass their lips. It
Mhm.
just doesn't occur to them to do that. But one of the ones that's missing from that is the intoxicants, and it's also missing from the kusalas.
Mhm.
Why is that the kind of odd one out?
Yeah, it's a very good question. Actually, Surami, to my understanding, misbehaving your sensual pleasures has a big relationship with these things. Because when you misbehave, your senses, what are they? Rupa, Saddha, Gandha, Rasa, Pottabha, Dhamma, right? So then images, sounds, what are the other things?
Flavors.
Taste, smell, touch, and thoughts. What about the taste? Because people are really looking for the taste. This taste could be in the form of a beverage or a food, right? So if you're going to misbehave, I think that has the connection to Suramirya. But the problem is why it is not a part of that big thing. But the 5 precept was not an original teaching of the Buddha. It was there even before the Buddha. To make you, to make someone a good man or good woman. But thus, the 10 skillful activities are the original, authentic, practice for someone who really want to attain Nibbana. So I understand that misbehaving with your taste includes Suramirya. And Suramirya has a long debate, I think. People misinterpret as well. People say they can drink, but I understand it is something interesting to talk about. So it's not just about alcohol, I guess. It is. I think we had a casual discussion about this thing long time ago, right? Remember? If someone consumes any food or beverage to a point that person cannot make a sound judgment about what's really going on. Let's say that person knows that I may not be able to make a sound judgment. I think that's the boundary where we can say that it is Suramirya. It is not even alcohol. Let's talk about top after meals. Batta Sammada. This is really a Suramirya. I call it Suramirya because there's a Pali word called Pittisura. Pittisura comes from starch. Starch. When you eat too much starch, especially rice, you are drowsy, and that is Suramirya. It's a big interpretation in the Atthakatha actually. Pittisura. So that means Suramirya does not only mean being alcoholic, because now let's take another example. You are having a sore throat, and then you think that the over-the-counter medications won't work. You want to approach a doctor, and the doctor will prescribe you a syrup like codeine. Say you can't take it when you are doing things like machine operations and driving and stuff, because that medication usually works by putting you to sleep, right? If you are not in sleep, that medication can't work. That's why it wants you to sleep. So, but it's a different scenario, right? You are not purposely trying to be, mindless, distracted to do something bad. So that's why I'm saying the alcohol explanation alone is not the best explanation. It is about consuming too much of food or beverages to a point where you can make a sound judgment. So I understand it is definitely a part of Kamisumichachara. That is why it was not a part of the 10 skillful activities.
Because it's sort of included.
I mean, we have to guess it. We have to understand that. I don't think that, not even that. There are a lot of other things. Like, what about like misusing your, misbehaving with your eyes, right? You are giving attention to unnecessary stuff. What about misusing your ears, right? Right? What about misusing your thoughts and touch, right? As well as smell. Some people chase after aromatic stuff, not getting satisfied. So I think there is this misusing. That is what one makes into a person of the preachment of the Suramere, and that is why it's not a part of them. I think that's a good question. I mean, that relates to our discussion, drowsiness and lethargy, and which is a full-fledged concept with Suramere. I think not a lot of people talk about Bhatta Sammada. I really like to talk about Topa after meal. So, okay, do you remember the king called Kosala? King Kosala? And the sources say that he had a big belly. He's eating too much, very big belly. One day, he came to see the Buddha, and he was really struggling to sit and then listen to Buddha because he has eaten too much. And then what happened? Buddha asked a question, why are you struggling? And he said, I can't, focus on this moderation thing, but I eat too much. And Buddha said, Chattaru pancha alope abutva udakampive. That's what Buddha says. Chattaru pancha alope. What is alope? Morsel. Okay. Leaving 4-5 morsels in you. Udakampive, drink water for that amount of morsels. I mean, don't fill your tummy with rice, 100%. You leave 4-5 bites, in your belly, and drink water for that part of remainder. And then the king said, dear Venerable Sir, but I will forget this thing as well. And the Buddha said, you can, okay. And he himself said to him, he said to the Buddha, okay, I will tell one of my assistants to read this while I'm eating, so I will keep that in mind. So Buddha says, filling your tummy with full food is not a good option, good thing. You need to leave some space for your tummy and drink water instead. So if you are a real Buddhist, if you are following the Buddha, this is the instruction for all of us. I mean, then if you are a devotee, you can pester monks to eat all the food that you are bringing. That's on one side. On the other hand, if monks self-eating without devotees, they can eat, to fill the whole belly, tummy, whatever, because that is the instruction. Because if you are eating that much, you can do anything, not even the meditation. You can talk to someone, right? I think we are not really mindful about that stuff sometimes. So, Topa after meals. Any other question? If there are no questions, let's wrap this up. So let's share all the good karmas with the departed relatives and the deities. May all the good karmas be shared by all the departed relatives. May they be happy and peaceful. May they attain the supreme bliss of Nibbana. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Idam me ñāti nang hotu sukhita huntu ñāteyo. Idam me ñāti nang hotu sukhita huntu ñāteyo. Idam me ñāti nang hotu sukhita huntu ñāteyo. Let's share all the good karmas with the deities or devas and brahmas as well. May the deities and brahmas share in all these good karmas. May they protect and bless all of us for good health, long life, and all the prosperity in all of your life, your friends, your families, and everybody. May the devas and brahmas be happy and peaceful. May they also attain the supreme bliss of Nibbana. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Ettavata cha amhehi sambatang punya
Sambadam
sabbe deva anumodantu sabba sampatti siddhya. Ettavata cha amhehi sambatang punya sampadang sabbe bhuta anumodantu sabba sampatti siddhya. Ettavata cha amhehi sambatang punya sampadang sabbe satta anumodantu sabba sampatti siddhya. Akasattha ca bummattha devanaga mahiddhika punyantang anumoditva chirang rakkhantu lokasasanang. Akasattha ca bummattha devanaga
Mahitika
punyantang anumoditva chirang rakkhantu desanang. Akasattha ca bummattha devanaga mahiddhika punyantang anumoditva chirang rakkhantu mang paranti. Finally, let's make a great wish. May all the good karmas we being collecting, starting from observing 5 precepts, reciting gathas to offer Buddha Puja, and all these meditations and sharing dharma, help all of us to attain the supreme bliss of Nibbana as well. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. So we 2 of us will be reciting few more stanzas to bless all of you. Abhivadana silisse niccang vaddhapachayino chattaro dhamma vaddanti ayuvanno sukhang balang ayurarogya sampatti sagga sampatti mevacha ato nibbana sampatti iminati samicchatu. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Okay, let's bow down 3 times to Buddha as a respect of the Dhamma.